Hello, ladies. I'm going to wait for a few people to sign on before I start talking. I am so excited about our chat tonight. I cannot even tell you. I have probably 100 things that I want to talk about tonight, and it's not all going to fit in the chat tonight. I will just tell you right now. Darren is on, Dawn is on, D is on. D. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. And Jenna, Ajay, welcome to Facebook Live. I am so excited that you guys are here. I want to have a little throwback moment to a week ago. Hello, doll. Oh, Misty's here. Hey, Misty. Little throwback to last week. We had Layne on, and Layne is... like every time she comes and does the chat, I have like new words to describe Layne. I have no idea. I mean, she's a phenomenal human being anyway, but last week she freaking like, she just blew me away because she's so funny. And like I always say, you know, she's our most popular guest host because I'm sure people want to hear from somebody other than just me. But I was literally dying laughing the entire time during her chat, and I'm just like, she's so brilliant but so crazy. Like I was just like shaking my head. Dawn said she's amazeballs. It absolutely, she is. Helena's here. Hey girl. And Crystal, I am so glad you guys are here. So if you did not see Layne's chat last week, you need to go back and watch it. So many funny things that she throws out there, like alongside the most intensely good like little nuggets of wisdom for your business, because she knows exactly what she's talking about and she is bringing it to you like every single time she comes on. I think she gets a little more comfortable with herself, and I could not be more happy about that because she's so smart and she's so on brand and she's so relatable. And then she comes into our group and like posts about working for a golfer's wife, and I'm just like, of course you are. And I'm actually going to come back and talk about Layne a little bit down the road in our chat tonight. But again, if you guys missed her, go back and watch her. She's so funny. It's already posted on YouTube, and there should be a outline in the description. If you guys ever want to go back and watch some of these chats and don't feel like you have 60 to 90 minutes to spend, you know, going back and taking notes on each one, we have done that for you. Isn't that incredible? So go back in the YouTube descriptions and check it out. Okay. Hi, Moraine. Hey, Kim. Yeah, Kim says, I love watching Layne. I do too. Like I try to take the night off and I can't because I have to watch her, and she's so phenomenal. So speaking of YouTube, if you are watching this replay as one of my YouTube subscribers, thank you very much. Please comment and let me know that you were here and that you're watching, but also please come over and join our Facebook group, because that's where this is all happening live, and you can come and contribute to the conversation, be a part of it. I would love that. That would make me really happy. Catherine's here. Hey girl. So again, my YouTube subscribers, thank you so much for finding me that way, for searching for whatever you were searching for when you came across our channel. But we have like the real deal going on Facebook, so come join the group. It is, you can search for Pro Organizer Studio. You will pull up our Facebook business page. Please like the page, because I am starting to post a lot more like cool content on the Facebook business page, but you'll see a linked group called also Pro Organizer Studio. So that's the group you want to be a part of. Our hashtag that we use on Instagram and, you know, kind of across some of our social posts is PO Studio Girls. We're not all girls. There's one or two guys out there who have been approved into our fold, but it's mostly girls. So we're gonna stick with that hashtag. Okay, Jennifer's on. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so let me give you guys a little bit of an update or kind of a glimpse on where we are. Again, if you guys are watching this in the future, today is August 1st, 2017. If you know me at all, like I get really excited about two things: Mondays and the first day of a new month. And if the first day of a new month happens on a Monday, I pretty much flip out because I'm like, like all my goals are going to happen now, and I'm going to just totally get in there and execute and do the work and like make all this stuff happen. So anyway, today's just the first day of a month. It's a Tuesday. I'm cool with that. It actually gets me even more excited to come on and do this live chat. So today is August 1st, 2017. I am going to start our chat tonight in kind of an unconventional way, at least in terms of what I usually talk about. You know, we have a topic planned for tonight, and I'm going to get to that. I really feel I've been really like meditating on this topic for about a week. I've been like talking to you guys in my head. It's going to be awesome. But before we talk about that, and it is a marketing topic, which is like super relevant to everybody. Misty says, I'm ready to blow August out of the park. Marketing consult sessions, bam. I love it, girl. And then I'm feeling you. I'm like right there with you. Okay, so I'm really excited. Rossi's on. Hey, Rossi. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you at the very beginning of our chat tonight. Okay, if you have been following me for any period of time, you have probably heard about my paid course, which is a whole nother level from what I talk about in these free live chats. Like, I love doing these live chats, but like my brain, my strategy, by the way, my love language is strategy. Like talking about, you know, planning out a strategic future for yourself, for your business, how you're going to make it work, how you're going to get the clients that you actually want to have. My brain got put into a course which you can take on this topic about, you know, professional organizing, and it has kind of like a not really super creative name. I called it the master class because I couldn't think of anything else. But it's not a master class about organizing. It's about branding yourself, the pricing strategy that I talk about in, you probably heard it referred to in several of these live chats or these YouTube videos. It's about marketing yourself to the clients who can pay that pricing strategy. And then the fourth module is all about, you know, going in and making the sale consistently. So that it's a system that all works together. I talked to you guys a little bit freely about my pricing strategy because I talk about package pricing. I do not talk to you guys about everything that goes into what it takes to support that and to sell it, like, you know, consult after consult. That's why, you know, I mean, it's a level above what we do here, you know, for free. It's, you know, it's the paid version of my course. So you get like kind of like my unfiltered, and can you believe it? I actually have an unfiltered side because I feel like, you know, I really give you guys a lot of, you know, stream of consciousness as it is. But it's the completely like to the point, like here's the system that you need to make the strategy work for you. It's in a course. It's called the Masterclass. You can learn about it on my website. It's proorganizerstudio.com. That's my website. The reason why I'm bringing this up at the beginning of our chat tonight. Fawn is on. She said, I just signed up today. I saw that, girl. I'm so happy to have you. That is awesome. You're going to learn so much, not just from me, but from the group of girls who is in the community who's doing it along with you. Okay, the reason why I'm bringing it up at the beginning of our chat tonight is because today, like I said, is August 1st, 2017. If you have been on the fence at all about whether or not you want to do this course, you want to do it now. And I want to tell you why. Is because it's not actually a class that is going to take you 8 weeks to work through the videos and the workbooks and the modules. Like, there are some courses like that out there, but the course is designed, you can move through it as slowly as you want to. Like, that's actually not an issue, but it's designed for you to move through pretty quickly in terms of the content of what you need to know about those 4 things. There's a lot of decisions that you need to make about your business along the way, and I give you checklists and worksheets and all the stuff that you need to do to support you in that. But if you want to be ready for what I would consider what I can tell is the only, you know, common busy time for organizers across the country. Now, this, I want to give a caveat with that statement, is you can be busy at any time of year, and that like really might have to do with several different things. It could be about where you live, or, you know, how long you've been in business, you know, how many people you have in your network, whatever. But I think in general, what I have heard from most people is that fall is a busy time of year, like across the board. And there's a lot of reasons why that might be. We might come back and touch on some of that tonight because we're going to be talking about marketing, about why people are ready to make changes, why fall might be a good time that they're doing that. But if you want to do this class and be ready for that influx of people that could be coming to you instead of your competitors, I would do it now, because you can move through it within 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, have those clients knocking on your door September, October, and then, the clients that you had in the fall become the repeat clients or your referral sources for your new clients that are going to come in the new year. So just a thought, if you've been sitting on the fence, this will be the time that I would take that leap, just personally. So Darren says, you can binge on all the material and get things done right away. I love the masterclass. Thank you for saying that, Darren. There are some people, when I originally designed it, and I do design it to kind of go in order, because I think like each module and each decision kind of builds on each other, because again, I'm trying to give you I'm laying out like a system for you to make, you're selling packages. Like my lowest package price is still over $1,000. So I'm teaching you how to sell packages for your organizing business that are between like $1,000 and like $3,500. So, don't expect to be able to piece that information together, like from this YouTube video or this live chat or whatever. Like I'm handing you that system so that you guys are not like trying to flail and do it on your own. So that you're able to move forward confidently. And I feel like, I have a lot of great testimonials for, the people that, this is working for them. Like I'm not alone on this. So if you want to talk to me more about it, and this is something I've really been trying to say lately, if you want to talk more about what is included, because if you're not sure what's included, it's not a class about how to organize other people. I don't even talk about that, but you do have like the private Facebook group where you can come to us if you have like a specific like organizing problem, or you're looking for a specific solution. You have other women who are invested in their business like you are, who can answer your questions. And so I was saying, what is it not? It's not a class about how to organize other people, but if you want to talk to me about what's included, or have me set you up with somebody who's in the class so you kind of know, like, get a glimpse of what's included, I will do that for you. So, but you gotta email me. You gotta talk to me one-on-one. My email address, hello@proorganizerstudio.com. Okay, so again, I'm super excited that all of you guys are here tonight. There is a topic that we're going to talk about that I haven't quite addressed in this way before, and I'm really excited about it. So last week I did a business book giveaway, or about 10 days ago, I did a business book giveaway in our group, which was super fun. And another reason why you should come join our group if you haven't yet, like if you are lurking on me on YouTube, you need to actually come over to Facebook and get in our group, because there's a lot of cool stuff happening there, a lot of discussions on things that you might be wondering about. So to enter the book giveaway, you had to comment on which book you wanted to win. By the way, if you won one of those books, I sent them out yesterday, so get excited. You had to comment which book you wanted to win and tell us what topics you would like to see discussed on our live chats, either by me or one of my other team members, or if we don't talk about it on a live chat, like it could end up being like a blog post. So that's what I'm going to start with tonight. And I mentioned, I did a post where I actually did an Instagram live where I revealed who won the giveaways, and I talked about the fact that in August, I am going to be doing this plus the next 3 live chats. Layne will be at the end of the month. We have another little surprise at the end of the month for a special Facebook Live, which is going to be awesome. But I'm going to be addressing like some of these new topics that people brought up over the next 4 weeks. Well, this is one of the weeks, so this plus 3 weeks. Okay, so Crystal Golden, you are on the chat tonight, I believe, and you were the very first person who commented, and you ended up being one of my winners. And I'm going to read you guys what her original, hey Jackie, I'm going to read you what her original comment was, and then I'm going to talk to you about a few of the other comments that went with it and kind of what our topic is going to be tonight. So Crystal says, and Crystal, I don't know where you live. So if you actually, I think you live in Colorado because I just sent you the book, but I didn't know where you lived when you made the comment. And what you asked was, I want to know more about how you make conversions. I have met a lot of people who could really use an organizing session and even a redecorating session, but they would rather, oh, this is such good language right here. They would rather struggle in a bad space than pay. So good. And then you said, I have even offered a few on trade, but they seem determined to just exist, ... Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so many things I could talk about this statement, but I also want to read a couple of other comments that kind of go along with this. I'm scrolling down, guys, sorry. Jasmine Park said, how to sell yourself or your business to others that don't understand why they need an organizer. That goes hand in hand. And then also, Noelle says, tips, and I believe, let me see where she's from. She might be in Brazil, I can't tell. Tips on how to sell yourselves in a country where nobody has heard about personal organization. Noelle, I'm going to click through to your profile. No, I can't tell where you're from either. Okay, so we're gonna talk tonight about how to market, like how to talk about this crazy business that nobody has ever heard of, whether you live in a country where it's not a common thing at all, or whether you're struggling with something like Crystal talked about, where she said, you know, you meet people that you can see need this service, but they seem determined to struggle in a bad space. Okay, Jennifer Campo just commented about my hair. Thank you so much. That makes me so happy. I do try. Okay. Like I said, I have so many things. I feel like I could go on and on and on about this topic, and I'm sure I'm not going to cover it all tonight, but like I said, I will be with you guys for the next few weeks, like straight, like all through August. So we will touch on all these things. Like, this is the pain point, right? You don't know how to sell yourself. You don't know how to talk about it. You know, we're going to start with that. Okay. So, hang on. I lost my page here. I got to have two screens going so I don't miss anything. Okay, the giveaway post. All right. Okay. So first of all, we're going to actually start with the comment from Noelle. And I get this kind of email in my inbox all the time. If you guys have ever emailed me, I do respond to all emails I get. And I get emails from people all over the world who are excited that they found like this information, because, I mean, just being honest, I don't think anybody else is talking about it as openly as I am and as Layne is, at least not on YouTube. And, you know, people on every continent, India, Africa, all over Europe, like, people are finding this information, and then they'll write me and they'll say, so I'm super excited about this, but literally nobody's ever heard of this where I'm from. Like, how can I get started, or how can I do this? And I'm going to talk about this first. If you guys, and this is like just like super practical information, okay? If you guys are truly in that situation, and I'm talking to my students who are, you know, in a country outside of the US, or, you know, anywhere where you feel like this is not a thing at all. Like, you need to realize that even in the US, it's not like really known as a thing. It's not like, you know, you can't just say I'm a professional organizer and have people automatically know what that means. So you please realize that, like, we struggle with that too. So if you are genuinely like in a place or in a geographical area where people really don't know what that is, I will say, I mean, I always ask this, if you have other like personal custom service businesses around you, like, and I'm talking about like a personal trainer who'll work with you one-on-one, like, that's something that's not going to come cheap, right? It's not like, you know, something everybody has at the gym. You know, something like that, or something like an interior design business. Like, if you have other like custom service businesses around you that are thriving in any kind of way, I would say that there probably is at least a small market for organizing services where you are. Now, Reaching them is a whole nother story. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. But I just want you to, be realistic or be practical about what area you live in and kind of evaluate it from that standpoint first, even if nobody's ever heard of like the term professional organizing. Rachel said, I'm excited to hear more about this, and I only live 25 minutes from the Metroplex. Yes. So, yes, we're going to talk about it for like other people too. So, if you live somewhere, like I get emails from people in India and Africa. I mean, I have a paid student in Africa taking these concepts and applying them to where she lives. Definitely all over Europe, Australia. It's not that the stuff can't work. It's just you really have to customize it for like where you live. But if you live somewhere where like it's not known at all, but you genuinely believe like, okay, you understand in your own mind the reasons why people would want to get organized or why they would be willing to pay for a service like that. And we're going to talk about that more in this chat too. What you need to do, and this is practicality, you need to connect with somebody who is more likely to understand what it is you're doing. That would be a realtor. That would be or a real estate agent, like whatever you call it where you live. Somebody who's helping people sell their homes, because super practical application for organizing is the necessity of downsizing and staging your house so that it will sell. Okay, that's like an investment that people can start to understand. And you guys need to be like super clear on understanding they are spending money with you in order to make more money on the sale of their house. Okay, so that's one of the most basic applications of like why people would hire you. Okay, so if you go to somebody in your country or wherever you live, even if you're 25 minutes from a Metroplex, you need to go to somebody who does understand what it is you do. And I do not often I don't standard, like this is not my standard recommendation. Like if you guys have taken my free course, I say you don't have to do free jobs. But if that's like seriously like the reality you're facing where like people are not going to know what you do at all, you need to connect with another business individual who does understand what you do, and you need to offer to work for one of their clients that hopefully is kind of more in your ideal target market. Work for them for free, because I'm talking about if they have no other way to like get a glimpse of and understand what it is you do. Okay, so that's my like most practical advice if you are in India, because again, I do have people watching me who are like, okay, I really want to do this, but I have no idea how to apply it in my area. This is how you start. You're going to have to start that way. You're going to have to show and not tell what it is you do and connect it with like the results that people are getting, because you are going to have, a little bit more of or maybe a lot more of an obstacle in helping, you don't have like other organizers around you to kind of help you with the marketing effort of like what this even is. Does that make sense? I feel like that makes a lot of sense. So if that's the so like Noelle, if that's the struggle that you are facing, like realistically, you kind of need to get off the ground in some way, and that's what I would recommend. But let's go back to Crystal and Jasmine's questions. Okay, now I'm gonna get back to exactly how they worded it. Okay. This is good. I gotta pause anyway. White wine tonight. Hope you guys are enjoying some kind of happy beverage. Tea is good. Water is good. Tonight is Pinot Grigio. Pour moi. All right. So Crystal said, actually though, and she lives in Denver, Colorado, and we're going to just assume that the majority of people who are listening to this live in some sort of populated area that, is not going to have to struggle with the idea of Azanique says it's mojito night. I love it. And Mindy, we know you like red wine. Awesome. Okay, so Crystal said, I'm going to read this again because it was so good. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal says, I want to know more about how you make conversions. Oh, and Crystal says she's drinking limoncello lemonade. Fancy. She says, I've met a lot of people who could really use an organizing session and even some redecorating, but they would rather struggle in a bad space than pay. I have even offered a few on trade, but they seem determined to just exist. Okay, Rossi says she's drinking a protein shake. I am super proud of that. I aspire to be you, but I am not. That's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna like dig into Crystal's statement here. Like, this is gonna be kind of like the gist of what we talk about tonight. I want to mention first of all, and I'm gonna kind of go in and out of order because I just have like so much I really want to share with you guys tonight. There is a new blog post on my blog. You probably would do best by Googling. Google is like the most important website ever, okay? Google. Google Pro Organizer Studio and Google why people are hiring pro organizers. There's an entire post about this. I have outlined kind of 5 like big reasons that you guys kind of need to like be aware of, and then there's a free download. All you have to do is click to download it. You're welcome, of 30 more reasons. I hope that you guys can understand like why that's like so golden for you, because A, you need to build up like your own confidence in understanding why people are willing to pay you money. And B, this is like really good information for you to use when you are kind of coming up with your social media content, or if you are trying to write the text for your new website. It's like you need to speak to the reasons why people care about doing this at all. Now, I printed this out just so I could have a visual. I'm not going to go through all of them tonight, even though each one of them could probably be its own conversation, okay? But like, okay, staging their homes is one of them. That's like super practical, okay? But they're ready to commit to change. That's another one, and that's much more abstract. And so you guys have to realize that there are going to be, 100 different reasons why people might be willing to pay you the money that I continuously talk about is available to you. You have to know how to, show the value of what you're doing. And in order to do that, you guys have to be really tapped into the kinds of people who are willing to invest in a certain result. And typically those results, even though there's 30 different reasons on here why people would hire an organizer, typically those results can come down to a bottom line, quantifiable amount of saving time, saving money, or like genuinely decreasing the amount of stress and anxiety that they're feeling in their life. I mean, that can be very quantifiable too. But if you guys, I don't even know if this is my number one biggest point. I'm probably going to say 5 times tonight, this is my number one biggest point. This is one of the hugest points. If you guys don't understand the type of person who would spend money to invest and get a certain result back in their life, let's go back to that home staging example. Does it make sense to you that somebody would pay you $2,000 to come in and create a result that's going to make them $8,000? Like, if they're increasing the sale of their house by that much, and I just threw those numbers out, but I just want to put that example out there to you. Do you guys understand the concept of like what it means to like get the return on investment that they know that they're going to get, because like it's proven over and over again. Homes that are decluttered and don't have a ton of crap in them sell for a much higher price. This is home staging, basic home staging. Even if you don't come in and bring like fancy artwork and fancy furniture, if you just declutter the place, it's going to sell for a lot more money than it would have otherwise. Okay. So when I talk to you guys about targeting the market that can afford you, I feel like sometimes this gets a little bit misconstrued as simply, targeting rich people or people that have money, as if the only reason why they would pay you is because they have money. Like, oh, I have money, so will just spend it on anything. That's not true either. Like, even if they can afford you, they're not like blind to the value of what they're getting. And that's why you guys have to frame every single thing that you're putting out there in terms of the return on investment of like why, like what is their why? And there could be 30 different reasons why. There's probably more than we have on this list. You guys can probably read through this list. Again, search it on my, you search on Google, Pro Organizer Studio, why people are hiring pro organizers, professional organizers. You guys have to get like super comfortable with the value of what you do. Okay, I'm going to pause right there because I feel like I might need to read a couple of comments, but also I really want that to sink in with you for a minute because I feel like that might be like as part of the disconnect between like you guys, you understand the opportunity that is there, like as an organizer, like it's kind of a growing profession or a growing field, but you kind of can't connect like, okay, so I see that like Layne has awesome results with package pricing, or Jen has awesome results with package pricing, but like why would somebody pay me to do that? And you guys really have to start, bringing together the insight, of what's going on in that type of clientele's mind before you start marketing your business. Because if you're throwing it out there just like, hey, here's something you can spend your money on, most people or some people, you might get lucky and like connect with somebody who's like, oh yeah, I was just thinking like my life was a mess, but more than likely it's not going to really resonate with them like really deep inside them, and they're not going to be like, this is something I need to do now, not put off like for 5 more years because I really need to make a change. Okay. Oh crap. You guys are saying you can't find it by Googling. Hang on 1 second. Pro Organizer Studio. Why people... the name of the blog post is 5 Reasons Why People Are Hiring Professional Organizers. So you should find it with that. Okay. So the blog post is great. The download is even better because, maybe there's some reasons why you personally have not even thought of before. You're like, oh yeah, like, oh, people might be going through this life situation or that life situation, so on and so forth. Okay. Maitland posted a link. Thank you so much, girl. Really appreciate that. Okay. Sandy's here. Lauren is here. Hey, Lauren. Sarah is here. Who else did I miss back up here? Noelle is here. She said, oh, so Noelle, if you're watching this back on the replay, she said she's getting bad transmission. I mentioned you in this broadcast, so thank you so much for signing on. That is awesome. Okay, so let's move on to, I can't even tell you guys like how much I want to talk about tonight. So what we're talking about, in the big picture is, starting to put together a strategic, and I said this at the very beginning, like strategy is my love language. Like if you tell me you want to sit down and talk strategy about your own business or even something I don't even know about, I'll be like, yes, like I want to hear about, like that's like what gets me excited. And that's why I love the business side of like what we do. Tess is here. Kara's here. Thank you guys so much. Oh, Nancy. Okay. Awesome. All right. So what we're talking about is, putting together a strategic way of presenting yourself to your clientele, that are going through maybe a variety of these reasons or situations, but this still, in order for you to not get put like in the friend zone, like when these people come across your business or they come across your Facebook ad or they come across whatever, you need to like I said, really understand the type of clientele that is willing to invest in themselves in order to get a certain result. Now, I often will say this, like, you need to target the market who can afford you. And like I just said a second ago, don't misinterpret this and just think, oh, it's just the people who have tons and tons and tons of money. It's not always like that. I mean, yes, they usually have money, obviously, because you cannot build a business around people who don't have money. So forget that. But they're not always like the richest people on the block. It's just that they are people who understand, like, if I spend, you know, $1,800 with Jen now, then I am saving this much time in the future, or I'm making my life this much easier because I have this or that going on, or I can focus on my job, my business, my kids, whatever, without having the stress of also dealing with all the crap that is in my house. Like, and I'm just like painting like really broad brush strokes here. I want to say though, and this is probably like the first time I've ever like come on Facebook Live and kind of like given you guys a little bit of tough love, okay, is that it's really hard for you guys to authentically connect with this kind of audience if you are not the kind of person who understands what it means to invest something in your business or in yourselves or in your life. Like, I know, for example, you know, we give away a lot of free content, and I know that there's a lot of people out there who are kind of DIYing like certain aspects of their business just to get it off the ground. And I'm not talking about that at all. I just really mean, like, you know, are you the kind of person who, you know, is willing to, if you have no money to invest in your business, that means you got to put time into it. Like, are you going to go, you know, Google the things that you can't figure out on your own? Are you going to go and watch all of the past replays of like the videos that we put together? That would be one way of investing in yourself. Also, are you the kind of person, and let's just be really, 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 really honest with ourselves, like, are you the kind of person who can teach yourself how to build your own website and have it be super professional in order to present yourselves to high-end clients and like really be like authentic in like what you're doing and what you're saying and like what you're showing them? Okay, like, people who don't want to invest and like go get a professional headshot absolutely boggle my mind. You cannot like put yourself, like your real business, out there and have a photo of you that you like, you know, selfied in the car. You can't do that. And so it's kind of like, if you are going to be the kind of person who can go in somebody's home and be like super connected with who they are and with the kind of result that they want to get in their life, and yet you're the kind of person who's like, nah, I don't want to pay anybody to do anything for me. Like, it's not going to come across, like, it's not going to ring true to them, and it's not going to come across the right way in terms of like, you know, like you can hear us talk about package pricing and be like, okay, I'm just gonna do that too, you know. But if you don't have all of the stuff that goes into it to support it, it's not going to work. And then you're going to be like, oh, I can't get clients doing this, and so I must not be any good at this, or maybe this doesn't really work in my area. And that's not really true. But there are, you know, you really have to like put yourself like out there in a certain way that's going to be, you know, putting your money where your mouth is. Like, you want your clients to invest the money for you to come in and create like a life-changing result for them. You need to be willing to do the same thing too for your business. So that's another thing we want to talk about tonight. Misty says, people who aren't familiar, you have to tell them what we do, bring value to them who see value and are willing to pay. Yes. And you can connect with those clients over and over and over again if you're doing things correctly. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, and I said I was going to jump around a little bit, that I was going to go back and talk about Layne for a minute. Because you know, she's one of my guest hosts. She's one of like my best friends, and yeah, we met on the internet and we're like super proud of it. She's fantastic. But here's the thing that's really interesting to me, and as of today, we have like 900 members in this group, but when we had literally 9 members in this group, 9, like single digit, Layne was in here and she was like, oh my God, I want to learn as much as possible. I want to, you know, she just struck up a friendship with me, and that was awesome, which was great. But, you know, as the group grew and Layne was sharing some of the successes that she had, people would email me or message me and be like, oh, well, you know, I don't feel like I'm not as good as Layne, or like I'm so jealous of like when Layne says she made another sale, or like does, you know, she can do this or that. And the thing that I knew about Layne from the very first time that I ever met her, and I guess I recognize this because, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm like this too, but I'm like, this girl invests in herself and like her personal growth and like just her business game, but like her life game, over and over and over again. And it's not always like a monetary investment, but it's just, it's time. It's reading books about this or that, or like understanding people better. You know, we talk about like personality types. We talk about like, you know, being the kind of person who can, you know, go into somebody else's home and like hold that space for them for like this tough shit that they're going through. And you know, that does not just happen on its own. And people who will be hiring you like can sense that. Like, are you the kind of person who, you know, you're just showing up and you're just like, you know, you're just expecting to be paid a whole lot of money for organizing their house? Or are you the kind of person who understands that like it's a multi-level like, you know, thing that you're doing here, and that you're like willing to work with them on the multiple levels of like what's really going on? Because anybody who's been doing this business for like 10 minutes knows it's not like just about their stuff. And you know, sometimes the reasons that people call you and hire you are not easy, not fun. Like, they have been through the death of a family member. It's extremely traumatic. You know, they're not you know, they're not just looking for somebody who will come in like a housekeeping service and just clean all their stuff up. Like, they really want somebody who is going to go through this process with them and who like gets it. Like I get it. You know, I have also been through a similar situation, that kind of thing. And I'm going to kind of let you guys fill in the blanks there, because it could be so applicable to so many situations. And I don't just like want to, you know, hold Layne up as like the only example, because, you know, there's nothing really special knowledge necessarily that Layne or that I have, you know, but it's about like being able to connect to people. Does that make sense? Okay. Layne said it. Okay, I didn't want to say this, Layne. She said it in the comment chat right now. She said therapy in all caps, self-help books in all caps. You know, like, are you the kind of person who, you know, who cares about your self-awareness game that much, and who, you know, wants to continue investing in yourself and investing in your business? You know, are you going to jump on the opportunity to not be the control freak in your business? We talk about this a lot. We talk about this with hiring out subcontractors. We talk about this with, you know, letting go of the fact that you probably don't have time to teach yourself web design, you know, if that's not your thing, unless you have a background in that. So, for example, we offer those services to help you out so that you're not overwhelmed and freaking out about trying to do it all yourself. Layne said, therapy saved my life. Okay, so she's willing to just put that out there. I didn't want to necessarily say that, but I just wanted to say, like, you know, when people came to me and were like, oh, like, I'm so jealous about, like, what Layne did or what Layne, you know, I'm just like, girlfriend, Layne invests in herself and, like, really cares about, like, the total package she's bringing to her clients like nobody else I've ever seen. It's very impressive. Melissa said... Hang on, Melissa, I'll come back to your comment. Jennifer said, I agree, it's not about the stuff. Many know how to organize, but just need sort of like someone that understands, not judgmental, and motivate them. Completely agree. I completely agree. And this is why I tell you guys all the time, or I try to get this message out there, that you can be chosen over somebody else that has more certifications, more classes, or more this or that than you have, more experience, because people will choose you based on their personal connection with you, not based on like your word for word resume. Okay. Jenna said, sometimes I feel like this Facebook Live is my therapy. Rossi said, I believe you will have to work on yourself before you can actually present yourself in a positive way. How are people going to believe in you if you don't believe in your own self? Positive attitude personally and with the client. I completely agree with that. Noelle said, it's like it's like going to the gym or working out. You know what to do, but sometimes you need someone next to you to guide you. Yes, ma'am. That's true. That's true. And often you're just like facilitating that process, and that's a really beautiful thing. And Melissa said, I cannot afford anything, and I have been busting my ass every day, and I am good at organizing, but I don't know how to market myself well to others, and I feel like they can smell my lack of self-esteem, LOL, but I feel like that's a whole other issue. I mean, honestly, Melissa, I feel like that's the entire issue in my mind, because you would not, for example, hire a personal trainer, and I'm just like going like really generic here. Would you hire a personal trainer who had all the knowledge in the world, but who personally was not like living a lifestyle that was like really inspiring to you? It's like that wouldn't be worth very much to you. It wouldn't motivate you to keep your appointments. You'd be like, oh, so you smoke and you like really actually aren't that much in shape? Like that's not exciting to me. But like if you can tell me how to work out, like that's not that valuable to me. Like I want somebody who is going to push me to work harder, and then I'm going to be motivated to keep up my results because I paid for them. And can we just talk about for just a second that people do not value what they don't pay for? Okay? So, there's so many directions I could go with that statement. I will just say I talk about this in depth in the masterclass. I talk about it with pricing. There you go. Okay. Layne says, oh Lord, preach, girl. Yeah, no, I feel like I am preaching. And I don't know where this is coming from, but I guess just lately I'm like, I feel like people kind of need to hear this. And I feel like, going back to, again, I lost it again. Crystal, here we go. The giveaway comment. Crystal said, how do you make conversions? I've met a lot of people who could really use an organizing session and even redecorating, but they would rather struggle in a bad space than pay. I have even offered a few on trade, but they seem determined to just exist. So my question for you is how you're coming across these people. How are you crossing paths with these people is what I'm asking. Like, you are not necessarily, when you guys start a business, and I have this is probably a whole nother conversation. You don't have to be a member of this high-end clientele class of society in order to sell to them, but you need to be really comfortable with your self-awareness and all this stuff that we talked about in order to be able to serve them authentically. Because, for example, if you go into somebody's house and you're just like, oh my God, I cannot believe you spent money on all this stuff. Like I couldn't buy even one of these things if I, didn't eat for an entire year. Like they're not going to trust you in their house. Okay. If you have this attitude of really being uncomfortable with money or how they spend their money, you're not cut out for that. You're not cut out to serve that type of clientele. So what I'm saying though is that you don't have to necessarily also be on the same income level as they are in order to authentically serve them, but you need to be really comfortable with who they are and meeting them where they're at. But are you coming across these people and you said they could really use an organizing session, but they would rather struggle in a bad space than pay? You didn't mention can they afford it or not. You just said they would rather struggle than pay. Part of the thing that you're going to have to do is you need to start connecting their why. For why will they invest with you and what result are they going to get? Every result can be a bottom line of time saved, money made. I don't know. You have to really connect with that person in their specific way. Okay. Noelle. Okay, Crystal said the people I've met are through a women's entrepreneur group. Okay, so they are also running their own businesses. Is that right, Crystal? Because actually, I've found that those types are generally really good clients because they understand that if they understand the concept of investing some money, to have somebody come help them, because they know okay, if I spend this money, I get this much time back, and I can make back my money that I've invested like 4 times over, right? They just inherently understand that. Okay, you're saying yes. Okay, so maybe you need to create, and this is more practical advice, maybe you need to create a package that like really makes sense to them, like for where they are. Like you're coming in, you're not just talking about organizing their entire house, you're coming in and just focusing with them on their home office, for example, helping them get ready, like get their paperwork done, organize like products if people sell stuff from their house. Like I've worked with businesses who are working out of their home. Kind of create a package that like really speaks to them. And you said, I've even offered a few on trade, but they seem determined to just exist. You need to figure out, you need to like dig in a little bit on why that is and what would make it worth it to them. And I'm not sure if this is like they're entrepreneurs, but like they're just starting up and like they don't really feel like they have the money to invest yet in outsourcing something. But like this is really what it comes down to, right? Like it's outsourcing. They are going to be outsourcing something in their life to you. And so they're expecting to get a specific result back from that. Bianca's here. Hey, Bianca. Ashley's here. Noelle said it would be awesome to shadow each other and learn from each other's methods. We don't currently have a way of doing that. We have the big group, the group that you guys are in right now, for you guys to ask questions and that kind of thing. In the masterclass group, we talk a little bit more probably in depth about, kind of tips and tricks on like the consultation part, but there is not a part of Pro Organizer Studio that is exclusively, concentrating on like organizing methods. But I can see why you guys would want that. That's interesting. Okay, so lastly, there was another comment from Jasmine, and I just want to read this again. Jasmine said, how to sell yourself and your business to others that don't understand why they need an organizer. Okay, so I'm going to make one more point tonight that I hope hits home with you in some way. You guys, I think, often think that what you're selling is organizing services. But that is not often necessarily like a straight, like from point A to point B, like I have this problem and I just realized I need an organizer. Like people can't always make the connection between the particular stress that they're feeling in their life and the fact that they are disorganized either chronically, like in their personal, just their personal habits every day, lack of productive calendar systems, or just they don't connect their anxiety and general overwhelm with like all the stuff that's in their house and the, amount of mental energy and physical energy it takes to maintain that. So sometimes what you have to talk to people about is not, hey, I'm a professional organizer and this is what that means and here's what we do. Like you want to tell them that, like you're going to have to do that education piece of it. But what you want to do is you actually want to first figure out why they're feeling the emotion that they're feeling, and then helping them connect the dots between their physical surroundings and the state of well-being or lack of well-being that they're currently experiencing. This would be a great thing for you to go through this checklist, or not. It's not even a checklist. It's just a list of ideas. Reasons why people hire professional organizers. It's like there's 30 things on there, and not all of them mention they need to get rid of stuff, or like one of them says to organize collections. That's like a very obvious reason, right? The number 15, a fear of going through their items and the emotions they bring up. That's not something that is necessarily that they're immediately cognizant of, is the issue. So one of the things, Jasmine, that what you have to talk about is, let's say you're meeting somebody for the first time and they say, what is your business or what do you do? We first of all have to get over this hurdle where people don't know the term professional organizer. So you actually have to, I tend to say I don't even say that term. I say I organize other people's houses. Like, I get paid to organize other people's houses. That's something that makes sense to people. And you can say it's called professional organizing, and it'll be like, haha, did you know that was a thing? You know, just to make it funny and make it memorable. And I say something like, you know, every single one of my clients is different. It's such a fascinating field. By the way, side note, I was a psychology major. I'm super into like all of the many, many, many reasons why people would want to do this or why people need help with this. That part is really fascinating to me. So I generally will sometimes tie that in when I'm talking like my little elevator speech. But I'll say every single one of my clients is different. A lot of them are going through death, divorce, downsize, that's 3 Ds, you know, needing just needing help moving or being totally overwhelmed, organizing a business that they, you know, are working from home, and that it's kind of like colliding with their personal life so much that they need somebody to just come in once in a while. Like, they don't necessarily want to commit to having a regular personal assistant, but they can have me come in once a month regularly to help them stay on top of like systems and that kind of thing. So you kind of, even like when you are talking to people like in your everyday, you sort of have to, like in your elevator speech as a professional organizer, you have to give some of these examples so people can say, oh, I see why people would hire you. Like, it's not just, you know, you don't just walk into your closet one day and say, I'm just not organized enough. Like, I think I need to pay, you know, just maybe 2 sessions. I just need somebody to come in and, you know, reorganize my stuff and help me get rid of things. Like, that's not the thought process. Like, it really starts with more of like a general not being able to cope with things and, you know, a feeling of like, I could be doing so much better. Does that make sense? Okay, Mindy says, I have been thinking a lot lately about connecting the services towards a holistic lifestyle. So yeah, Mindy, that makes a lot of sense to me, and we can talk about that more in the masterclass group because I love the research that you're doing. The holistic lifestyle, you probably will have more people who understand. You know, if there are people who are already interested in holistic living, like let's give that as an example, they're probably going to understand a little bit more inherently about why it feels so good or it's so important to, you know, let's say you're going through the downsizing process. Like, let's say you're the 65-year-old that is going to retire and you want to move to your lake house, and, you know, you and your spouse are, you know, ready to start going through this house that you've lived in for 40 years. Okay, like that, like let's give that as an example. And if I'm like, as that client, if I'm already the kind of person who's into holistic living, it's like, oh, like, this is going to feel, you know, this is just going to feel so good. It's going to be so therapeutic. It's going to be very cathartic to like get rid of these things and to, you know, go through this process of like, okay, like where my grown children, it's time for them to take over, like, you know, their stuff or whatever. So it's going to make more sense to them, but there still has to be connected, I think, some urgency to it, because not everybody just does this as like a self-improvement quest. And I'm sure that makes sense to you, and I know you know what I mean, but you know, you're not going to be marketing to people or talking to people who are just like, don't you want to just be more organized? Like, don't you want to be a better person? Like, sure, like I want that, but it's not going to make a big difference to me until, you know, until some of these like reasons come up, like where it has actually become so overwhelming that I'm not able to function or that kind of thing. And then here's the beauty though, is once you're working with some of these people who are going through these things, you can sell them on keeping it up with you as an ongoing service, just as a self-improvement thing, or because it feels so good. Don't you want to keep up this great feeling? Like that's the beauty of that. Okay. Rossi says, I have a friend that she had some problems with a stalk. Okay. Rossi says she had a neighbor that was stalking her, or the neighbor was a stalker. So she had to sell her house. I packed her whole house, and during this process, they found a tumor, so she had to get surgery. This helped me to realize that it was not just about helping to pack. She needed me to listen to her. She is great now. She is great. So now she has bought a new house. I will be helping her soon. Okay, so that's another good example of one thing leads to another, right? And sometimes you don't know when people will need you, which goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning. You guys can be busy any time of year, but I feel like a lot of people go through some of these bigger home tasks, or they decide to start working on, downsizing and organizing and going through that process in the fall because it's not as hot, and you're kind of thinking like, I can actually go in my attic, go through my garage, like kids are back in school. I want to get all these things done before the holidays this year so that I'm not like still overwhelmed when the new year starts. Because I swear to you, as soon as it's August, you're basically like, the year's over, right? Because you have so many things going on. So going back to what I said, I said this at the very beginning, if you guys have been on the fence at all about doing the master class, now is the time that you need to do it, because you could have that class like done over the next few weeks if like you really put some time into it, and be up and running and be ready for that influx of clients that could be coming to you in the fall, which is just generally tends to be a really busy time of year. So if you have questions about what's included or what it's like, we do this is the way that you can communicate with me one-on-one every day in our private group, or we have group calls that we do. It's kind of like a 20-way Skype call, like where we're all face-to-face and we're all talking, and I get to do a lot of listening, which is awesome. So it's a totally different experience if you are ready to take your business to the next level and have that strategy laid out for you. And it's meant to be an investment that pays off for you guys in your business, tying back to what we talked about. Like if you are tired of kind of trying to piece it together and research it all and figure it all out on your own, and you want to, follow my business model, what I talk about, package pricing, target the high-end clientele, these people are way more fun to work with than the people who can only pay you $20 an hour. So please let me save you from that existence. And come join us. And if you have questions about it, it's email me at hello@proorganizerstudio.com. So with that being said, let me see if there's any more questions, and we will call it a night, because I can't believe it. I was kind of on fire. Or, well, I feel the fire. I still feel the fire. And we're going to have some really interesting topics over the next few weeks that came from the group suggestions. So we'll keep going with all of that. Okay, Tessa said, good stuff, Jen. Didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. And Layne said, you're definitely on fire. Okay, so next week, I actually haven't set the exact topic, but some of the other things that we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks, I will just tell you, are Gloria. Let's see where Gloria is. Gloria. How to remain optimistic when business seems like it's at a standstill. That's a great topic I will be talking about. And then the third one that came from the group suggestions is from Steph. She said, I would like to hear more about strategies to help me decipher my niche or niche, however you want to pronounce that. So we're gonna be diving into those topics. Okay, Jennifer says I got a lot out of this live session. I'm so happy to hear that. That makes me really, really glad. Jennifer, Crystal, Kim, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to dive into those topics. So if you are interested in that and really want to hear some more of this, impassioned kind of style, I'm going to be bringing some more of that in August, because I'm just like so fired up about, just the opportunity that I think that you guys have. You got to put it all together. You got to do the work. You got to get out there and execute. And if you're not getting enough inspiration from me, please listen to like Gary Vaynerchuk, because he'll tell you all day long, like, it's not that there's not a lack of business out there for you. Especially if you live in an area that has a population at all. It's a matter of, relentlessly doing the work to connect with the people who need you. And, he talks about that in a very general sense. I would like to be the person who's talking to you about that in a specific sense about the organizing field. You can take the experience that you have. I talk about this in the free course that I have on my website. You can take the experience that you do have and tell that story, because you guys are all here because you have a passion for this, or you have some experience with this and you want to do this, and you can do this. It's a matter of marketing yourself so that you make sales. That's all it is. And I'm so simple. It's very hard. But you don't have to be the most certified person out there. You do not have to be the most experienced person out there. You need to be the person who, like Layne, can continuously connect with your clients, meet them where they are. And Layne's just an example. There's 1,000 different types of ways to do it, or personalities out there. I want you guys to find yours, cultivate yours, and find the people who need you, because there's really good money to be made doing what we do. Okay, Ashley says I'll be watching the replay later. Oh, Lisa has a question. Once you sign up for the masterclass and or the subcontractor class, can you re-access them as needed? All day long, girl, forever and ever. It's there for you forever. It's do at your own pace. The subcontractor course is like a guide. It's kind of a mini course that you can work through in a weekend. The master class, you can go very, very fast, or you can take it slow, but it's there for you. The group with the master class is there for you forever. And another little cherry on top is that every time things get updated, and things do evolve a little bit as time goes on, I think of new cool things to add to the masterclass, you get all those updates forever. So it's very much like a live, in progress thing, but you can get the core information, videos, checklists, templates, contract, all that stuff that people want right off the bat, so that you can jump in for what you need right now. You can go through that. I would love it if you went in order, but you can go through that as quickly as you want to. So yes, Lisa, it's always there for you. All right, ladies. Okay, Tayus. Hey, so sorry. You said, hi, I'm new in the group. I'm so glad you're here in the group. We're at the end of our chat tonight, but I'm so glad you were here. Please watch the replay. I will see you guys next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. This is where we are. So happy that you all signed on with me tonight for, this is during TV prime time. So it makes me feel like a celebrity. Good night, guys. Good night, ladies. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Layne. See you later.